This podcast is sponsored by nobody. Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now I am so excited for today's show. This is an interview that I've been wanting to do forever, and it's finally going to happen today. I will be talking to the gorgeous, the talented Laura Harrington. You may remember her from a little Stephen King film called Maximum Overdrive, which is celebrating its 40th anniversary. She plays Emilio's love interest in the movie. Her name was Brett. And she's also Mrs. Johnson in The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. She's also Pretty Girl number 2 in National Lampoon's Joy of Sex. She'll be my, God, I've talked to maybe 5 people from that movie at least, something like that. And, she was also in The Devil's Advocate, which she also worked with Al Pacino on Broadway and Richard III many years before that. And she's Amy Grape in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and she's just had an amazing, amazing career, and it's going to be great to have her on. Like I said, this has been a long time coming. I've been a fan forever, and we're finally going to talk. And I think now she screenwrites and she teaches screenwriting classes or something along those lines. I'll find out more about it, but this is going to be a special, special one. Also, rest in peace, Chuck Norris. I can't believe I'm saying that. The guy's been around forever. My childhood video store, Shoreview Video, had all his movies. I used to see them on the shelves, but I never rented them until like later in life. And I never understood his movie star appeal, but the dude was a badass. And it's a real shame that he's gone. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he angered a lot of people with his politics, but he also touched a lot of lives. And I've seen that on Facebook. He touched a lot of lives. Also, I found out another guest of mine passed away last year, but I'm late to the news on it. Ruben Train, who produced the zombie classic Shockwaves, one of my favorite zombie movies ever, he died last spring. Go check out the interview we did, episode number 1443 from January of 22. He was a nice man, and that was a good, brief talk. Rest in peace, sir. So yeah, here is my interview with Laura Harrington. Hey Laura, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you.
Yes, I can't tell you what an honor this is. I've been your biggest fan forever, and I thank you so much for coming on today. It's a big thrill.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'm glad I still have some fans.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a lot more than me. So, going back in time, did you gravitate toward acting early on in your childhood?
Yes, I was really born an actress because we lived way out in the country. I'd never seen a movie or a play, but I was constantly putting them on. It was my go-to. I was really always in that imaginary world.
Did you grow up on a farm?
No, my father was a professor at University of Michigan, but we grew up in Plenty County.
Mm-hmm.
So out in the country, but not on a farm.
Ah, interesting. So did you start doing school plays and community theater when you got to high school?
Yep, definitely. Definitely. I was very shy, but I still would get the lead in plays.
How did you overcome your shyness eventually?
No, I got into Boston University in the acting program,
Mm-hmm.
and I was still really shy. So when I wasn't on stage, I spoke very, very quietly. And I had a professor there who said I couldn't continue being an actress unless I learned to speak up, and suggested that I play a character who was loud in my everyday life, which I did, and it worked.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting that I really couldn't speak above a whisper when I wasn't on the stage, and then that changed.
It worked like a charm.
Yeah, it did. It did.
So after high school, you attended Boston University and you studied with David
Yeah.
Wheeler.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And he referred me. He was the one who had me audition for Al Pacino for Richard III on Broadway,
God.
and that's how I got to New York.
God, that's amazing. So that was just after 1 year or a couple?
I think I was a junior when
Mm-hmm.
I left, and then I really never stopped working professionally.
But that had to have been just both thrilling and intimidating to go right into a Broadway play with Al Pacino.
It was both, definitely, definitely. It was sort of, I mean, David was directing, so there was and he was very good friends with the entire cast, so there was a real family feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But the big intimidation wasn't being on Broadway, and it wasn't Al, and it wasn't the other actors. It was the groupies
Mm-hmm.
who didn't like the fact that there were any women that were going to be near Al. So going onto the stage was always terrifying because they want to spit on me.
Oh boy.
Because it was like you couldn't be near Al, and when I can. So that was the hardest. Actually, that was like the gauntlet every night.
Did Al remember you on The Devil's Advocate?
Yeah, yeah, he did.
Yeah, it was.
We weren't in a lot of scenes together, but he definitely, we knew each other from, we were in Philadelphia before we went to Broadway, so there was, we had our birthdays in the same week, so we did know each
Mhm.
other, yeah.
Was he different or the same from the time that you did Richard III till The Devil's Advocate?
I think Richard III, he was at such a high point in his fame,
Mm-hmm.
and it had become kind of unexpectedly difficult, as they said, because there were so many groupies. And so by the time we got to Devil's Advocate, I think that it was a much easier, calmer part of his life.
Yeah, because it seems like, he did his best work in the 70s, and I think fame got to him after a while, and, he does a lot of movies, just like Robert De Niro does, that are not quite as artistic or good as the ones that they did early on in their careers, and I just think that, maybe perhaps, um, the more they just wasn't made for these times in terms of the
Yeah.
the kind of acting that they do.
Well, it's interesting because Al always loved to do readings. He likes to be with other actors. He likes to be on the stage. So
Yeah,
I think that always, I mean, he loved doing the movies he did do, but I think always he much more enjoyed and still enjoys being in a reading or on a stage.
I
He
think
really is
that's
that actor.
I think that's right, absolutely. And what a great cast that Richard III had. You had Keith Gordon, J.T. Walsh, Max Wright, rest in peace, and oh my
Yeah.
God, Glenn Scarpelli of all people from One Day at a Time. What was he like?
He was. I mean, everyone was great. It was really a big surprise that there were. The TV actors had a lot of fame, right?
Yeah,
It was always sort of surprising that you expect just the movie actors to have the big fame, but television actors have a lot of fame. So there were a lot of followers of them. And it was really great. Of course, I was very young in that crowd.
yeah. But it must have been a lot of fun after a while.
Yeah, it was. It was great. I did learn why Al had a bodyguard.
Oh yeah.
That was that's actually again back to the groupies. We used to go to this cafe Un Deux Trois every night because Al liked to go to the same place. So every night we would go to this cafe and we'd all sit around and talk, and that was what was so fun. And I played a blonde and a brunette.
Uh-huh.
And all the guys who came to see the play wanted to meet the blonde, even though they were sitting right next to me. That was always funny. And then one night we were sitting in a cafe, and Al's bodyguard is beside him, and we always thought, why does he have to have a bodyguard? Why does he have to have a bodyguard? Anyway, his bodyguard was beside him, and this woman in all black leather appeared in the doorway, and she had a pair of scissors in her hands.
Oh.
And she obviously had the idea that she wanted to get a clipping of Al's hair.
Oh, my God.
But by the time she was running toward him, she'd lost all sense of that, right? It was just, She was just out of control. And the bodyguard put his arm in front of Al's face, and the scissors went right into his arm, and there was blood. And that was the last time any of us ever questioned the bodyguard.
Oh my God, she'd be detained and arrested in this era,
Yeah, exactly. No, I know that's true. Not everything was just sort of whatever. We all took it in stride, but yeah, it's true. She would have been arrested.
God. And so while you're in Boston, is that when you do your first movie, The Dark End of the Street?
Yeah, The Dark End of the Street. I was actually in New York, and the director, I was recommended to the director. And the great thing about that movie is that it was about these kids who had grown up in project housing in Cambridge, and they were very responsible for, it was all of their stories compiled, so they're partially writers, and they were the ones who got to determine who this girl coming in to play one of them would be. So I had to audition for them, hang out with them, audition for them, and it was really kind of the greatest honor that they thought I could be one of them.
Yeah, I've never seen the movie, but I love Michelle Green. She's been on here twice, and I just adore her. What was she like to work with?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
She was fantastic. At that time, everyone involved in the film had been in trouble with the law, except for me. So, she's just like the most lively, loving, funny, crazy girl.
Yeah.
So we were just instant friends. Although we did have to do a bar fight, and she was much better at it than me.
Yeah.
It was like the real thing. But she was great, incredible. Really, that was one of the greatest experiences of my life, working on that film.
Yeah, and Ben Affleck is in it at 9 years old.
Yeah, he was my little brother.
Oh my God, you got to work with 9-year-old Ben Affleck. Wow. Were you surprised at his success?
Yes and no. I kind of heard the story of. I had a prelude because, again, David worked with them on the script of Good Will Hunting. So I heard about them and their quality, and I knew that one of the reasons why Ben was in Dark End of the Street is because his father was kind of one of the great stars at Harvard and then had some difficulties, and so the family everyone was looking to give the family money in any way they could. So anyway, it was very beautiful to see the evolution of that friendship and the film they wrote. Just incredible film. Nice.
Did you get a lot of attention for your performance in that movie?
Yeah, I was reviewed. Every single critic in New York wanted to meet me. It was insane. Vincent Canby, who was like the big star critic for the New York Times, wrote about my performance 4 different times. So I got a lot of attention for it, even though it was such a small movie and, not very many people saw it. But the critics really went crazy for it.
Then you do one of Martha Coolidge's first movies, The City Girl.
Right. That was... I was recommended out of an acting class. I did an acting class at the Actors Studio, and then one of the actors there recommended me to Martha, so that's how that happened. But she didn't have the script on that film was evolving
Mm-hmm.
along the way, because she got the film, but they thought, the producers, who were kind of these Torontonian guys,
Mm-hmm.
really thought they were going to get a different type of movie. So she was sort of making a feminist movie,
Yeah.
while they thought they were getting something kind of semi-pornographic.
Yeah.
So we were just sort of as a counter culture, she and I. It was fun.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one either. It's not available anywhere, it seems,
Well, both those films, I think, are now available on Vimeo.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I love finding lost gem movies that I'm not familiar with and stuff. Yeah. Did Martha have you read for Valley Girl next?
No, I didn't read for Valley Girl, but I did. We drove across the country with the film when so she kind of was. I was there, sort of my first time coming into LA was with her, and she was looking to get a song from this young new artist who was exactly my age. We were exactly the same age, 21. And we arrive in LA, and we drive down the Sunset Strip, and we go to this club, the Viper Club, to meet him.
Yeah.
And it was Prince.
Oh.
That was my introduction to the first person I met in LA.
Oh my God, Prince of all people. I heard he refused to walk the streets of Los Angeles, so he had to be carried by a bodyguard, like literally carried.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I met him when he was super young, and and I only met him in the club, but he invited us to stay and watch that particular concert, which is incredible. It was really like such a, it's so fun.
Yeah.
To have that my introduction here.
Yeah, because Martha, she likes working with the same people over and over again, and she gave you a small part in Joy of Sex. I love that movie. I've had many on from it, and I still think it's hilarious, even though it didn't turn out the way that everyone thought it did.
Right.
I
actually should go revisit that film. I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, just every time I put it on, I start laughing. It's so funny. Does anything stand out about being on that set?
No, because I was on it for just a day or something. It was really small.
Yeah,
I had a small part in that.
Yeah, it's you and Sherry Gregory, who later married Michael Landon Jr. in that scene. Yeah. How does The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai come to you?
How did it come to me?
Yeah.
I auditioned for it. I'm trying to think exactly, because I auditioned for it. It was a really early job that I had in Los Angeles. I remember on the first day I couldn't find the set. I had to drive, and I got completely lost. And someone had to come and find me. Anyway, it was so I really didn't know Los Angeles at the time. And then, it was incredible being on that set, because just everyone who was in that, from the get-go, it was really fun.
Yeah, I've talked to Pepe and I've talked to Billy Vera, and I've heard Peter Weller say to this day he doesn't know what the hell that movie is about.
It was really, I don't know, it was so wildly ahead of its time, and it was so trend-setting in terms of the whole Japanese idea. I mean, all of that was, it was wild to watch it all kind of evolve after the film. Those things that series caught on. Anyway, it was hard for people to get.
Yeah, and wasn't Mrs. Johnson, didn't she have like a bigger role in the original script and it was cut down or something?
No, I had a very small role in the original script, and in the second script, my husband returns, and then I had a really big role. So that was the thing. We signed on for 7 movies.
Oh, okay.
So, it wasn't cut down, and it was exactly what it was exactly the way it was in the first movie.
I know, it makes me think if 7 movies had happened, would Peter Weller would have been RoboCop, you know?
No, it's true. It's a good question. Probably, yes, because he was so perfect for that part.
Yeah, I mean he's good in everything. Um, I love that really cool oversized '80s sweater that you wear with the belt. You know, that was really
Yeah,
true.
me too.
Yeah,
I got the Polaroids from the production,
yeah.
and one of my favorite photos from that whole thing are the photos from the costumer, because I'm in those crazy clothes.
Yeah, yeah. Is that how you were dressing back then?
No, it wasn't. But I did like it. I had a really good time.
I like how you're trying to stop Ellen Barkin from going into the bunkhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the movie came out, it was during the Summer Olympics, and it was a huge flop. Like, were you disappointed?
Yeah, but I don't know, you're young. I was young. I was in love. Because I didn't have a monster role in that movie.
Hmm.
I didn't feel it. But I thought it was. I loved the director,
Yep.
and so yes, I was very disappointed for him.
Yeah, I mean, Clint Eastwood's movie Tightrope and Red Dawn came out that same weekend, and somehow they survived. I don't know how they did. Maybe they had a bigger advertising budget, but yeah, it's really unfortunate that movie didn't make it. But it's become such a cult classic now that
Yeah,
it's just loved by so many.
yeah, and rightfully so. It is the perfect cult movie. In fact, I once went to a movie in LA, and there was, I guess, a midnight showing, which I didn't know, of Buckaroo Banzai.
Hmm.
And I came out of this small Russian film, and I was walking down the sidewalk, and I heard several people yelling, "Mrs. Johnson." And then I saw in the line so many people dressed up as Mrs. Johnson. It really shocked me
Yeah.
that there's that it lives on.
That's so cool. That's so cool. It would have been great if it had become a series. You would have had your own toy line and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's true. It would be fun.
Yeah, maybe
Although
even,
if somebody wants to make the toy line now, they can.
yeah, or maybe even Viewmaster slides back then. Can you believe it's been 40 years since Maximum Overdrive?
Yeah, I can. It does feel like a short time ago, but what I can't believe is that everything he wrote about, now we do have trucks that could run on their own.
I know, it's funny because this was like 15 years after Spielberg had made Duel for TV, and people compared the two, but this one is about something from outer space coming to cause all of this.
Right.
you know,
Right.
you know.
Exactly.
Now, when you got the part, like, did you look at the script and go, "Oh my God, what is this?"
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, it was. I knew when I met Stephen in that audition. We didn't. I don't think we were given the entire script in the audition,
Hmm.
because he was sort of concealing it. But it's always exciting, the whole process of getting a part. So.
Yeah. Now, it's been said in recent years, that he had a drug problem during filming, and he's even admitted to it. And he's also admitted that, he didn't know what he was doing. He had never directed before because he's a writer, you know.
Mhm.
I think that the professionalism of the brilliant actors that he hired for this movie and how they commit to these performances playing these redneck southerners in a small town, I think it's what saves the movie from ruin. I think that's why this movie has developed such a cult following. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, but I also think, yeah, it's funny because Stephen, if Stephen admits that he was inexperienced, that was true, but he was also always such I don't know. He was very, very kind on that set.
Yeah.
And very, so I think things go south when directors, get harsh on people.
Right.
But because he was who he was, I think a lot of, like, Yardley and so many talented people that were there just really shone. They didn't feel interfered with.
Yeah. How was working with Emilio?
Oh, he was great. As I was saying, he was super professional and super energetic and super organized, and he introduced me to Tom Cruise because
Wow.
Tom came to visit, and Tom taught me how to boogie board.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was really fun. But yeah, Emilio was great.
Yeah, he was hot coming off of The Outsiders and Repo Man and Breakfast Club and St. Elmo's Fire. I mean, he was a guy at this point who could probably pretty much do anything.
Yeah.
You know?
He really wanted to do an action film.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at the time that was sort of, I think, why he signed on and why he wanted to be there so much, because it promised to have a lot of action.
And Pat Hingle, he was such a treasure, that guy.
He was. I'm sad he's not with us anymore.
Yeah, and the irony thing is, they were both up for the father and son roles in Gremlins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is funny. That's funny.
Yeah. Was it George Romero on set a few times?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like he came by the set and he like kind of guided Steven through directing and stuff, because he was, one of the masters of directing horror.
Mhm. Yeah, I wouldn't have. I may have not known, but it was him.
Yeah. I've talked to Chris Murney, who gives you a ride and he touches your leg. Oh my God, that guy is a character. He's very Brooklyn. Was he good to work with?
Yeah, everyone was good to work with on that set. It was fun, except for they did have tough time with all of the special effects.
Mm-hmm.
That was the hard thing on the set because they were trying to do, for the first time, people driving those trucks while laying on the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really hard because they're so big, so heavy. It always was that was the most challenging part of that film.
Yeah. Yeah, you have so many great lines in this movie. If you don't take your hand off my leg, you're going to be wiping your ass with a hook next time you take a dump.
That's so Steven.
Yeah, or you sure make love like a hero, or I ain't never seen a hero with his ass in the air like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I watched this podcast that does a book club thing, and they were reviewing a book of Stephen King's called Gerald's Club, and they were talking about how juvenile his lines of dialogue can be, especially from the point of view of a junior high kid,
Right.
and that's what that is. I love it. It's great.
Now that's definitely his. He definitely has that sense of humor. He's the same kind of, I think he'd bring a dead frog in a jar and scare us all with it. He really does love that humor.
Yeah, it's just brilliant.
Definitely his essence. And at the same, along with all the other things about Steven, but he did really love to laugh in that particular way.
Yeah. The AC/DC soundtrack is just fabulous and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most memorable thing about the movie is the soundtrack. And did you know afterwards that AC/DC was going to be part of the soundtrack?
I knew that he was going to have a hard rock soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that was part of it, but Post comes in so late in the game, so I don't know that I did know that it was going to be AC/DC.
Yeah.
I didn't know when I heard about it. I mean, I'd seen them in Cleveland when I was younger, so I did know who they were in every way. and the Cleveland show was really insane. So I expected exactly that from the soundtrack, and it was really new, right? It just people hadn't used that level of hard rock.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, a lot of horror movies were having the hard rock soundtracks at that time. It was a trend.
Mm-hmm.
How did Viva Shafe Vegas come about?
I auditioned.
Mm-hmm.
I met. I can't believe you have that on my list. I auditioned for it, and it was really a really fast, quick decision. They really, they really liked me, and then I was in Vegas, so that was really a fast turnaround job.
Yeah, when I was 12, there was a comedy special section at the warehouse. I used to go rent movies and stuff there, and I saw Viva Shafe Vegas, and I was like, "Wow, Paul Schaefer did a comedy special," and so like I rented it because I was a huge Letterman freak by that point, and I just was laughing. I was like, "Oh my God, this is a lost gem," and I still feel that way. It's a lost gem.
Oh, I'm so glad you saw it, because and one of the big pluses coming out of that was I did get to go visit the show and meet David, and it was fun.
Yeah, your name is Hope Crosby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I like it. You say you want to tie up a girl with panties. I have hands, and he's like, yeah, but I know you. What was Harry Shearer like as director?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Really, really nice person. I mean, I'm so glad that he went on to all of his, years of success.
Yeah.
No, he was just, you could tell by the way he is, just that he's, in person or publicly, he's just really a nice guy.
I emailed him about 22 years ago, and I asked him all these fan questions, and he took the time to reply me back. Very sweet man.
Mm-hmm.
Very sweet. It's funny, you've worked with 3 Simpsons people. You've worked with Yardley, you've worked with Nancy Cartwright and Not My Kid, and you worked with Harry Shearer and Viva Shafe Vegas.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's true. There you go.
Yeah, it's so ironic.
It is. Especially since none of those are that related.
I know. It's all very different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up loving fairy tale theater, and I owned every episode on VHS.
Wow.
And The Dancing Princesses was my favorite one. I mean, I watched that probably the most when I was a kid. I just love it. How did you get to be cast as part of Twins?
Well, that was the incredible thing. She was like, the flattering part of that was she was like one of the Miss Universe contestants or something. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I heard that they'd found my twin. Yeah. And that she was a Miss Universe contestant. I was like, okay, well, I'll take that. And then we had it was my idea that we would speak together. Mm-hmm. We'd always talk together, and I think that really works about us in that show.
It did. Well, it's funny. You, her, Star Andreef, and Laura Stalley, you all looked like you could be like triplets.
That's kind of true, too. So I tried. Do you know where everyone went? Do you know more about their careers than me?
I read that Star Andreef became a mogul of some record company or something at some point, but I don't know what she's doing these days. The other ones, no. I mean, I know Sachi Parker. She wrote a very controversial memoir about her mother about a decade ago, and she regrets it, I heard, to this day. And she's doing like the Hollywood show, signing autographs and stuff. I don't know what the others are doing, though.
Yeah.
But I just loved this episode. I just thought it was really silly and funny, and I didn't know it was actually the last episode that aired.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, but I have to say that working on it was such a dream because we were all treated with such kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it was the fanciest back room experience. I mean, like we had flowers in our room.
Oh.
It was really, really, really nothing like having an actress be your producer.
It shows on screen that everybody was having a good time and everyone was getting along. It really shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and Roy Dotrice, he was great playing the king.
Yeah.
And here's another Paul Schaefer connection. Murphy Dunn plays his right hand man, and Murphy Dunn replaced him in the Blues Brothers band for the movie.
Oh my God. I rely on you for all of these connections because it's true. You know, everyone goes on and you don't know where they've gone and what they've been up to, but that's cool.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, your old co-star from Richard III, Max Wright, he plays the prince from Uppa Windbound.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, he's so funny. The part when he becomes drunk at the dinner and stuff, and then of course he gets roofied and sleeps. You know. Did you have to go through like choreography classes to learn how to dance and everything?
Yeah, we had a little, but we didn't really have choreography classes. I think, you know, there was pretty basic dancing, but we had fun learning. You know, we got to be all girls having a great time. It was like a giant slumber party.
Yeah. Who had the dirtiest mouth?
Of everyone? I don't know. It wasn't. I don't know. I can't remember us getting like foul mouthed. I can't remember that.
The part.
Yeah.
The part when everybody individually looks at the camera and says who the man of their dreams are. Do you remember what you said?
No, I don't. I don't remember exactly.
You said, "The man of my dreams is a prince with a heart who takes in small animals and gives to the poor."
Yeah, that I do remember.
Yeah. Yep.
I definitely found the man of my dreams.
Oh yes, Chef Gino.
Yes, he is a man with a heart. That's for sure.
Oh, that's good. I'm half Italian because all I was gonna say is you poor thing.
It's nothing. The only thing that makes me poor is that he's such a great chef that I have to like.
Of course.
I have to be careful not to become a giant person.
Oh, and I should mention Peter Medic directed that episode. He directed The Changeling, which is one of the scariest horror movies ever made. And he and his wife took me to see. Anyway, he became a friend afterwards. Mm-hmm. You play the judge's daughter in the Vern Miller story. Anything stand out about that?
Working with Lisa Richards, going to the South. Mm-hmm. It was fun, but it was again, it wasn't a huge part, so I don't know if it was such a standout experience for me.
Did you have a scene with Scott Glenn?
Yep.
Yeah, he's a great actor, very intense.
He's amazing.
How about Midnight Cabaret?
That's a film very few people know about.
I found out about it years ago. I interviewed Lisa Hart Carroll. She's a hoot. She's funny.
Yeah. Yes, she is.
Yeah, and it must have been a lot of fun to work with her.
Yeah, it was. It was great to work with her.
Yeah, she's a character. You did 2 episodes of Quantum Leap. Anything stand out about that?
Everything about the kid that I worked with. That was an amazing experience because it was tough because he really, I was supposed to be his enemy, and he really liked me. So that was always a little bit challenging because he was such a sweetheart, and I had to be so mean to him. But it was great. It was great working on that show.
Yeah.
I loved the cast. I loved this crew. It was just wonderful.
Yeah, Dean Stockwell, he was such a good actor.
Yeah, wonderful actor. So that was all great. And then it was really, I mean, it was because it was such a popular episode that they had me come back.
Hmm. I'm sure you get recognized a lot for What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
I do. Less now, but yeah, for a while I got recognized a lot.
Yeah, it's become such a cult classic since Depp has become huge. And working with him, God, you must have thought to yourself, God, this guy is so talented. He's good. He's gonna be huge.
Well, he was already a star at that point. It was Leo that,
Yeah.
Leo he was mind blowing, really, because he was unknown, and every single time he performed in that film, he was stunning.
Yeah, I mean, he was coming off of Growing Pains, being a kid actor, and now I think this movie kind of, is where he had to prove himself, and of course it led to the Basketball Diaries and everything he did after that.
Yeah, no, and he was really, from the very beginning, he was incredible in that role. He got to know all the these kids that were like him in that part, and befriended them, and you'd see everyone together, and you would never be able to distinguish him from any of the kids he was portraying, that he was trying to portray.
Yeah.
So he was, from the beginning, he just had a connection to that role and brought it to life, and in a truly brilliant, I thought it was just a brilliant performance.
It's a hard movie for me to watch because when I was a kid, I was bullied for being overweight, and there was this one kid who said that I was going to end up looking like the heavyset lady in the movie.
Darlene.
Yeah, and that always like made me cry. I didn't like hearing that.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, kids are so mean at that age.
They can be terribly mean, but. I gotta say, the one thing that film brought to me, and it was true of everyone who worked on it, we were all in love with Darlene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We were all not only in love with her, but we respected her so much, and it was really a great, and her relationship with her, it was just a great introduction to realizing that all of those prejudices and cruelties are inane.
Absolutely.
You miss these extraordinary people who, anyway, we all grew to love Darlene a lot, and I miss her a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. I saw Dead Air when it first aired on Showtime. I was 11, I remember, and I thought it was such a good movie. It should have been a theatrical movie, and I found out later it was Fred Walton who made When a Stranger Calls, and I just thought it was a genius movie. What was that experience like?
Well, that was great, and I did that movie. I finished shooting, and the next day I got married. Mm-hmm. So it was really divine. It was really such a cool experience, and yeah, I mean, I very much loved working on that film. It was fun.
Gregory Hines, God,
yeah.
he's a guy that most people don't remember anymore, but he was just a talented guy. I mean, he was a great dancer.
He was such a star at that time. I mean, his dancing was so famous worldwide. So. Yeah. It was great to work with him.
Did he do a dance on set?
No. I was like, I felt cheated.
Because I heard he used to do that sometimes. He would just start going into a tap dance on set to relieve himself from boredom, Yeah, and I heard his brother was making a documentary about him, and then his brother passed. So I don't know what the status of that documentary will ever be.
I would love to see a documentary about him.
I would too.
All I remember is that he did love cigars.
Hmm. Yeah.
It was pretty unusual for a guy at that time to be like a dedicated cigar smoker, but he was.
Yeah, when he did that buddy cop movie, Running Scared with Billy Crystal, they're always smoking cigars throughout the whole movie.
Right, maybe that's where he learned to love cigars. I don't know, but he did. He did love them.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised when you brought that up. How about Polly?
Well, Polly, that was really fun because I had started writing.
Mm-hmm.
For writing I sort of shifted into writing, and but I was really happy to get that part. I had 2-year-old twins, and then it was it was such a great part to get, and then I loved working with Haley, my little daughter, in it. She was great, and anyway, it was really, and my kids came to the set, and I don't know, it was all really kind of magical.
Yeah, I remember seeing the preview for it and going, "Oh my God, now we got a talking parrot movie."
So, but yeah, that was, now you're pulling me down memory lane, because that was really, it was a fun job, especially with the parrots, because there were so many of them, as in all movies that you do with animals, there's a whole animal training contingent that goes into it, and every single parrot has a different skill.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to know them, right? And it's really fun to work with it. I don't know. It was really fun to work with animals. I hadn't done it before.
Yeah, they always say, "Don't work with animals and don't work with children."
I know. They should say it's a lot of fun, though.
Did they have like several Pollies, different parrots and stuff?
Yeah, I think there were as many as 12.
Yeah, wow.
That they get trained in different skills, and they're all super smart, but they don't all, and they all look alike.
Yeah.
So, but then you would have, you'd find yourself working with a parrot that had different skills than the last one you worked with. So in order to do a film like that, they really have to rely on these really talented animal trainers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So did you got into screenwriting, right?
Yeah, I did.
Did you just become disillusioned with acting after a while?
No, screenwriting happened because I started having stories. In other words, I wasn't a writer. I really didn't even write letters home as much as, I wasn't a writer per se. But I was a really intense reader. And then when I was doing What's Eating Gilbert Grape, I started, we did a lot of improvisational scenes where I'd be waiting to come on for a long time.
Right.
And in that waiting, I started to, see movies in my head. And I remember going to dinner and saying, I'm seeing all these movies in my head, and does that mean that I need to find a writer?
Yeah.
And the producer said, no, usually that means I'm sorry, but that usually means you are a writer. And I thought, no, I really am not. But I started a writing class, and then anyway, long story short, I met this woman who had been engaged to Fidel Castro, and I wrote a film on spec about her, and that got taken up by Taylor Hackford, and then the first professional hiring job, I did work as a pro on that, but while I shot Devil's Advocate. And then but the first professional job I got was working for Scorsese he was the producer on it. So I really went from 0 to 100 as a writer. And who knew that I had that particular talent?
Yeah. And so now you teach screenwriting classes?
I teach screenwriting. I'm working on a rewrite. I also still write. And I do a writing workshop in Italy.
Wow, Italy, nice.
It's pretty nice. My husband's hometown, so.
Yeah, it's funny when I started writing scripts when I was 12, and
Oh, wow.
there was a period after my car accident when I was starting the podcast that I wanted to sell some screenplays, and right now I'm in limbo with that. And I remember I reached out to a couple of what they call on the internet the guru coaches of screenplay writing. And what I found is that they were just bitter, complete frauds who had been
Yeah.
screenwriters themselves, and they just don't want to open up and talk about it. They just want to talk about what they do and stuff, and it kind of bummed me out. But yeah, I mean, I could see from what you're doing. I mean, you genuinely love it and you love to write.
I love to write. I love to teach. I've been teaching at LMU now for a number of years.
Hmm.
Just one class a semester, so I can keep writing. But I really love teaching writing. At first, I didn't know if I could, right? Because it is a very lonely game. You're by yourself. You're in your imagination. But I do believe, and it's a really strong belief in me, that as long as people are willing to be courageous,
Yeah.
and as long as they're willing to be truthful, I believe that people have extraordinary stories in them.
Hmm.
And so I'm very much I believe that if they understand structure and how to write a movie, that eventually their story will be told, and in a very interesting way. So I love working with students because I get very excited about what they're doing and all that stuff.
Yeah. And also too, I'm sure, it's also fun to, you know, listen to other people's ideas and, kind of direct them through it so they can, write, the next masterpiece.
Absolutely, I'm all for it. But yeah, I do find a great deal of pleasure in it, and it was unexpected.
Hmm.
So
Have you ever thought about writing a memoir?
I think I should. Everyone who knows me says I should,
Hmm.
and I think it's very difficult. I mean, I hand it to people who can write about themselves. I'm always writing about myself, but hiding behind characters. That's
Hmm.
the screenwriter. But and people who can be really great, who are great memoir writers, I hand it to them because it takes a lot of courage, and it's sometimes hardest to get your own voice, right?
Hmm.
But I do feel like I have had such an extraordinary life, and I've met so many extraordinary people, and so I would like to, if I ever get it together, write a memoir.
Yeah, I think you should, it's a good story about a shy girl who hit the jackpot and has had an amazing life.
Yeah, it's true. I've been lucky. In that I somehow found my way through, found my way to becoming a little bit more courageous. And partially, though, in all honesty, it came because when I was 17, I was kind of set out into I was cut off.
Hmm.
So everything, I mean, I had to survive.
Yeah.
And that, in a way, forced me to either make it or really not have a life at all. I mean, it was really scary. But I did, and it was really rewarding. And I can definitely say I did it my way.
Yeah. It taught you to be self-reliant.
Absolutely, it did. Scary, not recommended.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping everyone can have it a little easier than that. But in the end, yeah, I think the things that I learned to do and that I had to be courageous. So I learned to be courageous and take chances, and that's how you end up doing, getting cast, and all those things take a lot of courage.
Of course. A few years ago, you were in a short called Written for Walken, so are you kind of dipping your toe back into acting?
They came and knocked on my door during COVID, and I couldn't resist. So, I would love to. Whether I will or not is to be seen. But I would love to start acting in the theater.
Yeah.
Again. I really do miss it. And it's my first skill. It's the first thing that I always adored doing. And so I think it would be fun to revisit it now, you don't know if you'd still have the same skills, but
yeah, I think theater would be a good start, and LA is not really a theater town, but at least, if you did a play, at least you could do it quietly and it could get your creative juices flowing again.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
There's more theater out here than you'd suppose.
Oh, I know. But what I mean is, like, if people don't flock to go to the theater in LA like they do in New York,
No, it's true. It's true. So at least you have a chance to fail, and no one knows. No, I mean, it's easier than New York for sure.
So real quick, we gotta play my secret silly game. This is a series of silly slumber party questions. It's no win or lose, just pure fun. And how the game works, Laura, is I ask you the question, you answer it, then you ask me that exact same question and I answer it. And feel free to comment on the answers because they might be funny.
Okay. All right.
Laura, are you ticklish?
Definitely not as much as I used to be, but there are certain areas of my body where I'm definitely very ticklish. How about you? Are you ticklish?
Yes, I'm very ticklish. I'm baby ticklish. You got to warn me that you're going to tickle me, though, because I might accidentally hit you in the groin.
Uh-oh. Ow. Okay.
Herky-jerky.
Not doing that.
Herky-jerky reflex, Is your belly button an innie or an outie?
It's an innie.
Okay.
Is your belly button an innie or an outie?
It is also an innie.
Oh, there you go. We got that in common.
Yeah. What color are your toenails painted?
Right now they are painted like a light, like a kind of lavender color.
Love it.
What color are your toenails painted?
They are green because this month was St. Patty's Day.
Ah, there you go. See, I missed getting my green together on St. Patty's Day.
Yeah. Well, it's not too late. I mean, for Easter, you could have like a blue-green.
It's true. I could add a little green, yeah.
What would you say is your best personality trait?
I would say the thing that has, like, if I'm talking about all the things I've done, I would say I'm infinitely curious.
Love it.
And I'm very fond of the human condition. As with all our flaws, I find being human really fascinating, and I'm always wanting to talk about it, think about it, write about it.
Yep, that's definitely a writer mentality. And for me...
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I forgot to ask you. So, question right back at you.
I have empathy, and I have no filter.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm a Gemini.
So what does having no filter mean?
I curse a lot. I tell body stories and jokes and all of that stuff.
Well, that's good. And I have to listen to the show to hear your body stories.
Oh, I've got plenty. Yes, I'll even send you a couple links to ones.
Okay, great.
What is your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure. I mean, this is going to sound really lame-o, but it is truly like the highest pleasure I get is playing with my grandchildren.
Oh, that's sweet.
I just can't tell you how. I mean, it brings out because I can be just a kid with them in a way, and they're just so much fun. I love it. So it's a big pleasure. I can't admit how much I love it.
Oh, that's sweet.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Eating pizza and watching a raunchy sex comedy movie like Joy of Sex or something like that.
I think those go together, definitely.
And then my favorite question is there a stinky smell that just makes you gag?
I have a very, very, very sensitive gag reflex. So any bad smell makes me gag.
Yeah.
And I have to be really careful to be around anyone who also gags easily, because it's like if somebody else gags, I gag too. So
Yeah.
What's the worst smell, though? Any kind of vomit.
Yes,
Can't handle it.
I agree.
Just either seeing it, smelling it, walking down the street and seeing vomit. I mean, I really have to do everything not to gag along with it.
It's contagious. It's contagious vomiting.
It is. What is the worst smell that you've smelled?
Either farts or feet.
Really?
Yeah.
Farts don't usually get me. Feet are terrible.
Yeah.
Certain kinds of socks are so horrible.
Yeah. I
So horrible.
call them the classics.
Yeah, having a teenage son,
Mm-hmm.
it really gets tough on laundry day.
It does. It sure does. I mean, I've had some people tell me that if they have kids, stinky smell doesn't really phase them that much because they get used to it after a while.
Yeah, you do, but there's certain smells that you don't. There's certain smells that are just meant to repel you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's nature's protection. Like, you just cannot handle them.
Yeah. Laura, this has been a dream. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, well, thank you for knowing so much about my career and asking all such great questions. It was great talking to you.
Oh, thank you. And I hope the family situation you were telling me about on Facebook the other day evens out soon.
It's better. It's already better. Just with kids, it can be really scary.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
You have a great rest of your day. Be safe out there, and God bless.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Laura Harrington, ain't she a sweetheart? Oh my God, she was everything that I hoped she would be. She was kind and shy and sensitive and articulate and just a great person. I enjoyed every moment of that conversation. I think it's one of the best ones I've done this year so far. She was just fantastic. It was a dream. She was an idol that did not disappoint, and I'm glad she was impressed by my knowledge of her career. Some people are downright terrified of it. I'm not going to mention names. Okay, the one I had earlier this week, go through my channel and find that interview. I'm not going to say that person's name out loud. That was awkward. That was an awkward interview, but this interview made up for it. I frickin' loved her. She was great. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.